I was walking through downtown Tokyo once when I was 20, 21 years old, 22 years old, and I found this old bookstore. And an old man came to me. He was a witch. And he said, "Hey, I'm going out of business. And you can take all of the books from my bookstore for 1 penny for one book. How many books do you want?" I carried home 500 books.
Oh
And
my God.
from that time, I read for 3 years, many of these books. And I totally got lost in all of these books. And I taught myself many, many things. That's where I learned to meditate for the first time. And I learned about the Akasha, and I learned about crystals, and I learned about naturopathy, and I learned about this and this and this and this. And I don't know what did I learn, but I discovered many, many things. And then once I was 24 years old, and suddenly the chance came, I met somebody in the park, and this person took me to the Himalayas for the first time, and I met my guru. And I met him, and this man I saw walking, I saw in his body every knowledge that I saw inside of my books, I saw inside this man. And I thought, wow, I want this man to teach me. Oh my God. And I sat and I was watching him for 10 days, just watching, never speaking to him. And in the 10 days he was talking to the people around, sometimes he would look at me and he would pick something out of my heart and he would say, "Hey, blah, 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 blah." And he would talk something to me and I'd be like, how you know this about me? And I don't speak anything for 10 days. Then I came back to Japan and I started writing letters to him every single day for like 3 months. And I would start sending my books to him and say, "Hey, what does this mean inside this book?" And just send him the book. "And what does this mean inside this book?" And I just send him the book. And he never answered my letters for 3 months until finally one day he calls me up and he says, "So, hey, come back and visit me." And so my relationship with my guru started like that. And when my relationship with him started, I visited his hermitage for the first time. And I saw he had a couple of my books that I had sent. It was just sitting there by his bed. And I said, "Hey, but what happened to this book and this book that I sent you?" And he said, "Oh, I gave that to Shivananda and I gave that one to Ramananda." And I'm thinking, hey, that was the most important book. I had so many questions about this book. Long story short, at that time, I didn't read again for 5 or 6 years. No more books after that. It was just waking up early and making the fire and taking a bath and following the animals and being very, very quiet. And there was no more books. And then he told me to read the Linga Purana and the Shiva Purana once, and then the Skanda Purana, like 20 volumes of the Skanda Purana. And I think, and the Gita, he said, and something Sandara Lahari, Adi Shankara.
Adi Shankara.
Yeah, these he gave me to read. But they didn't do anything for me. I didn't find anything inside that book that I didn't find inside the Duna, inside the fire. I didn't find anything more inside the book. And at the same time, everything that I had read in all those other books, it stayed and it made some sense. But it's like the knowledge, once it sits for a little while and connects with experience, then it makes some sense. It makes some sense. And the rest of the books don't make any sense anymore. And then it becomes very, very easy to spot the bullshit book and to spot a very interesting conversation and to see a guy who's, "Oh, this guy is shining like Buddha. This is very, very nice. Oh, this guy is looking like bullshit. This is not so nice." And it becomes really, really easy to use the eyes. Living the path. Living the path is really, really important, one day at a time. But I said all this because my guru would chastise me often. He would, "Devanand, you can't just turn it on like a light switch. You have to go through. And it's true. I'm 51 now. I'm 51 years old. And looking back, it's so true. Had to walk on the path, keep walking on the path, had to sit out in the field and watch the people and have all of these experiences every single day. Go to sleep, wake up, go to sleep, wake up, make the fire, wake up, get sick, go to sleep, do everything. Had to do everything. Take the drugs, don't eat anything for 30 days, don't drink anything, don't sleep for 10 days. Every experience, everything. Find that there's no ghosts anywhere. Understand that only the ghost is inside of me. Understanding. getting rid of these beliefs that I grew up with, from parents giving me beliefs and educators giving me beliefs and media giving me beliefs and politicians giving me beliefs, and all of these beliefs growing up, these beliefs are nothing, just beliefs. And so looking out on Facebook, I can see all of these beliefs, and how do I talk to these beliefs? You can't talk to these beliefs, but you can see all these beliefs, and then I can make a decision. Okay, so today I'm going to talk like this because I see this belief over there in the corner, but this belief can't understand what I'm going to write, but I have to write it anyway, just like this, because there's another belief over there, and that one has to understand like this. So sometimes when I'm writing something in the group, I'm talking to somebody very, very in particular, and sometimes I'm talking to everybody, and sometimes I'm trying to get something, but I have a goal, and that's to protect the innocence. Because out there in the Facebook world, you have some people, even there's one Manali Baba, offering a Shakti Pat. He says, you come and have a Shakti Pat and all of your dreams are going to come true. And you have 60,000 people in this guy's group. And so many people are screaming, my head is hurting, my body is on fire, I'm feeling sick, I'm having all of these symptoms. These people are going crazy, like psychotic. And this guru's guy is saying, hey, I'm going to give you Shaktipat and everything is going to be okay. But sometimes the Kundalini will rise and it'll make some problems. And that's such bullshit. That is such bullshit. That is not how Kundalini acts. When the goddess rises inside you, this is beauty. This is beauty and this is bliss. Why you say you have a headache, but the goddess has risen inside of you? No. And so you have people out there that are capitalizing on people's confusion and harming the innocent. And I have a very, very, very strong sense of justice. But I can't. If I say to that guru, hey man, you're talking bullshit, boom, he kicked me out of the group, and then I've done nothing. I can't do my job anymore. And so if I'm quiet, then what can I do? I can't do nothing. So anyway, I can't do nothing, and very, very slowly try to make a comment in somebody's thread, but that guy can't see, because somebody wants to align their chakras. I want to cleanse my chakras, just like they say I can do on YouTube. And if I cleanse my chakras, then I can get the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. So I want to ask the question, okay, where's your pot of gold? No, it's coming. No, it's not. Where is it? So there's a lot of foolishness happening out there, and people wanting the illusion very, very badly, and people doing a very, very good business to capitalize on that illusion. And there's a lot of craziness going on, and I can't do so much. So I have a small group, and even I don't let everybody into that group. So many people I say, no, you go away. But a few people I let in, and now I made another group too. And slowly, a few people can get something. And okay. But I mean, even Jesus Christ, only 49% of the people voted for Jesus Christ. 51% people voted for Barabbas, and so Jesus got tacked up on the cross. And everybody don't vote for Buddha, and everybody, so there's always going to be both sides. No problem. We walk down the middle. We walk down the middle and keep our peace, and that's all we can do. Now I have a baby. Okay, my job is there. 100% my job is there. And if I have a little bit, and of course I have to make money to take care of my baby. So that's the only reason that I'm making money. If I don't have the baby, I'm sitting by the river someplace, but there's a child now. All right, so that's the whole thing. My job is to protect the innocence. That innocence that's in the heart of me, that innocence that I was born. God came to this world. God created the human experience with limitations and capacities because God wants to be. God wants to experience. Okay, so God is here now. It's good. And all of these impressions and illusions and attachments and greeds and lusts and angers and all of this stuff, it wraps up and God gets lost. But here's God talking to God, about the whole God experience, raising little gods. We have our jobs. Definitely we have a good job to do. And like you said, I do my job for my own self, for my own self-development, so that I can remember the God inside of me, the innocence inside of me, so that can express. Now, self-realized, I realize, okay, so now next, I'm totally free. What to do now? Well, now there's a child. Okay, Let's keep that child free. Make sure this child grows free, does not lose that free, understands the human experience, understands what it means to be sad, to be angry, to be hungry, to be love and lust and greed, and understand all of that so they don't get lost, because they're going to experience all of that anyway. That's the human condition. We have this buddhi and manas and chitta and ahamkara. It's all there. It's all there, and it has to be there. And just like the Arjuna in the chariot, right? We have to do it. We have to do that job. Okay, so teach how to do that job slowly, because they can't understand all the philosophy. So I don't speak to my girl in terms of philosophy, but now she's 6 years old and she asks me the question, is there a heaven? Is there a hell? What's God? What's death? Well, asking the big life questions now. Okay, so speak the truth simply so a 6-year-old can understand. I'm not going to, and she knows a little bit about energy. She knows a little bit about heart magic, how to create heart magic, how to create her own feelings, how much control she has over her own feelings, how she can touch somebody and bring good feelings, how she can use her voice and make some effect, how she can use her words and make some effect, how she can think about something and see outside the synchronicity. She's learning all of that now. Oh, what kind of magic girl will she be when she's 10 years old and when she's 15 years old? And she's very smart. She's very smart. She's talking and she's not afraid of anything. She's walking through the life with no fear. And still, I want her to learn karate and aikido and fencing with a sword. I want her to learn that because she's a single girl, and she's going to walk through the life. I'm going to be an old grandfather. I can't take care of her anymore. I hope she can take care of herself. And she tells me, no, I don't want to learn these fighting arts. Oh, what am I going to do about that? I want you to learn this. But she tells me, no, I don't want to learn this, Papa. Maybe she's right. Maybe she's here to do something else. I have to listen to that. And so I tried to push my idea a little bit, and she pushed back a little bit. And then what do? We live on an island. She has to learn how to swim. Okay, so we send her to swimming class. She says, no, Papa, I don't want to learn how to swim. No, you're going to learn how to swim. Anyway, you're going to learn how to swim. And I have to make a judgment because I'm Papa. So there's some kind of balance. Sometimes I have to listen and sometimes I have to judge. Sometimes I have to show a little bit of anger, and sometimes I have to hold my anger back because my anger is going to cut her heart. I don't want to cut her heart. No, my anger the tone of my anger could be like a knife inside her heart. I don't want to do that. So I have to watch very carefully. If she says, no, I can't hear this. Okay, I'm sorry. Let me calm down my own anger. I should do that. Why do I have to be so much in anger? What do I have to control? I don't have to control so much. You just make a mess, okay? But sometimes very disrespectful, right? You say something very disrespectful to me. I have to teach her how to use her language, but why I have to feel disrespected? I'm 51 years old, she's 6 years old. I should control my own feelings just a little bit more. So there's a big balance in this relationship. I'm a guide, yes, but she's also a guide. It's a nice sadhana, this thing with the child. So that's why I do what I do in the Facebook group. That's why I do what I do around Facebook. This is how I talk to my clients when there's something to be suggested. Okay, you have work to do with the child. You have a nice book here. You can start your sadhana there. We have some suggestions, and then I meet you in 1 month and we talk again. That's coaching. The yoga tantra is about raising up the energy into the third eye. And when agya is lit up, the god and the goddess are there, and the god commands the goddess, you never go down and talk to the lower self again. You stay up there. And the eyes becomes very clear and you can see. And you experience as a human being, but you can see very clearly. And you keep the sight, and still you go off to the left and you go off to the right, and you bring yourself back to center. And that's what it means to raise it up through. You don't have to think about what's happening with the chakra. You have to think about how purified your whole body is and how purified your mind is, because the mind is all through the body and through every energy center. And the body is the body. So you take care of the body and you be healthy. And as you're making your body healthy, definitely your energy body is becoming healthy. And as your mind becomes balanced through reducing the anger and reducing the lust, and as you can see more clearly through this illusion, realizing the connection of the people, how we're all a family together, realizing my personal responsibilities, realizing my freedom, realizing that really my choice to be here in this life, my choices, the responsibility of my choices, realizing like this, clearing out my own psychology makes all of these chakras spin properly. And as you go forward and you see small miracles going forward, and you understand, hey, this is a miracle of life going on, and you realize that I'm not doing any of these miracles, but some miracle is happening. And actually, I don't have any power, but at the same time, I do have the power to create my own destiny. That it's not the fault of COVID, and it's not the fault of my employer, and it's not the fault of my wife, but it's the fault of some choice that I'm making right now. That I do have the freedom and the power to create my life and my destiny. And then you start getting strong. And then you start creating a courage, a bravery to go out and create what I want to create. And as many times as I fail to create what I want to create is as many times as I stand up and I try again. And as that courage, as I raise that courage, and as I go out and I keep trying to create, and then suddenly I'm creating, and then suddenly this Vishuddhi is open. And then suddenly Anahata is open because I'm raising my courage and I'm doing, and then I'm feeling and I'm serving. And then I'm able to express more clearly. And suddenly one day my eyes are very, very clear because I've understood myself. And so now I've understood the world too. And I never have to go back down and associate with fear. I never have to feel guilt. I never have to feel resentment. I never have to feel anger, even though I feel these a little bit sometimes, but I can recognize what this is and I can deal with it. And that's the shadow work. I can see it. This is all part of the human condition. I am the shadow, I am the light. That is aghori. I am both of these. But I don't have to live in the shadow. Neither do I have to live in the light. I can live as a human being. This is the aghori way. This is the Shiva way. This is the human way as a man. And as you understand this and the gyan rises, then the third eye is open. At that time, you're seeing very clearly. So agya is open. And then what's this one? Even this one even stops, the sages even stop there. But if you read the Tantra Loka, they don't talk about 7 chakras, they talk about 12. And then somebody starts talking about 108. And then somebody starts talking about 72,000. So yeah, it's not the chakras. But another good coach, he may approach this conversation from the perspective of chakra. Okay, that's a possible approach. My guru never approached this from the perspective of chakra. I don't know how my guru approached this because he didn't use a textbook. He only woke me up in the morning and started talking. That was it. Woke up 4 o'clock in the morning, light the tandoor, make tea, and sit there for 4 hours smoking a chillum, just smoking and smoking and smoking, and then breakfast time at 8 o'clock and bath time at 8:30. And then we go out into the town and buy a newspaper and just sitting under the sun. Oh, all day, every day, all day, every day. What did we talk about? Lucky, very, very lucky. After about 6 years or 7 years with him, one day I decided, hey, I need to record some of this conversation. And so I got a mini cassette recorder and I started recording. That was a beautiful, beautiful understanding. 6 years late, but 6 years in, I started recording. And then came the technology of the MP3 player. And I had a much more gigabytes to record. And so over the next 10 years, I recorded so much conversation. And I put all of that conversation into a big book. I made a big book. Someday I'm going to publish that. It's nice. There's a lot of bullshit in books. A lot of people causing confusion, and you're right. People are out there, they have to do their job, and who am I to judge? But still, it's like the COVID vaccine. Somebody says that this is a bad vaccine, and somebody says that this is a good vaccine. And you have these two, this is a really dangerous thing to do with words. It's really dangerous. And sometimes it's easy. Sometimes you can say, look, if you walk in front of a car and the car hits you, you will be alive. Or if the car hits you, you will be dead. We've had enough experience to say, no, that's not a good idea to get hit by a car. We have some experience, but when they don't have the experience to actually make the judgment call, when you start talking about chakras, right, then anybody can say anything. Anybody can say anything. And that's when it becomes really difficult. And that's when, if you have a little bit of base knowledge of the Indian wisdom kings, right, because all of this information comes from India, you have to go to the source texts. You have to go to what the sages say about that. That's all. If you have no experience about chakras, then you have to go to your own experience. What do you see in your meditation? And then you have to talk about that. Hey, this is my experience. This is what I've seen inside my own self. And if that doesn't make any sense to you, then look, this is what Vashishta says, or this is what this guy says, but not Krishnamurti, because Krishnamurti is just a philosopher, right? He's a stoic guy. But there are sages who talk about this. Abhinavagupta is one.